Hey everyone, welcome back to another evening of Answers with an Edge. Good to see you, Ellen, right away. Nice to see you there in the chat. Quinn, want to go ahead and welcome everyone, say hello, and talk to us about... You know what, don't give us a news rundown, just give us a rundown on where we are on the big beautiful bill, because that news seems to change by the minute. Attitude of gratitude, good to see you.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Let's dive right in. The big beautiful bill just squeaked by in the House, and now it's in the Senate, where they're racing to get it passed before the 4th of July. Lots of drama, so stay tuned for more updates.
Filamenti Ferris, thank you for being here over on the YouTube side, and Deb, welcome. We got Tammy, Logical Monkey, good to see both of you. Sherry, thanks for joining. I know there's been some Republican pushback on the bill. Can you tell us who has come out as opposing it and who might yet oppose it?
All right, so we've got some Republican pushback on the bill. Senator Tom Tillis isn't a fan of the Medicaid cuts, and Senator Ron Johnson called it grotesque on the fiscal side. Plus, the House Freedom Caucus is raising some red flags, so this one's definitely going to be a wild ride.
Christine, welcome to the YouTube chat. Good to have you here. RLP 1952, greetings to you this evening. Nice to see you. Did the CDC get fired? What do you mean, did the CDC get fired? Quinn, what do you know about that? How does a whole agency get fired? Did the CDC get fired, or is that a title for someone?
So the CDC itself can't get fired since it's an agency, not a person. But
over on
the CDC
YouTube.
director could definitely be dismissed. So maybe that's what you're hearing about.
And Christine, thank you for joining over on the YouTube side. Good to see you.
Always awesome to see new faces joining in. Thanks for hopping on, Christine. Let's keep the good vibes going and the questions coming.
Okay, so follow up here. So Tammy wants to know, did 16 people at the CDC get fired? Was there some news story about that? Can you search? Welcome, Kaysen.
No worries. I'll keep that in mind. If there's anything else you want to check, or if you've got more questions, just
no. We did still want your answer about 16 people being fired from the CDC.
So it turns out that 17 members of the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices were dismissed and replaced with some new appointees, and a few of them have expressed some skepticism about vaccines. Definitely some big changes happening over there.
Wasn't there, I don't think it was the American Medical Foundation, the pediatric physicians association or something, didn't they come out against this and say that they were going to release their own vaccine recommendations?
Yeah, the American Academy of Pediatrics definitely weighed in. They still back vaccines as safe and effective and are planning to release their own immunization schedule separate from the CDC. So lots of shifts and reactions going on in the medical community.
Evening, Maggie. Good to have you here. Okay, I need to pay attention to this answer. RLP 1952 wants to know how to navigate the next 3.5 years without going mentally insane. If you can give us a solid answer for that, I think there are a few of us who are going to be taking notes.
All right, for staying sane over the next 3.5 years, first off, focus on what you can control. Stay connected with your support network. Take breaks from the news and find activities that recharge you. And hey, a little humor never hurts either.
Right on cue there, Quinn. Thank you, everyone, for the gifts. Tammy for the woolly hat. Lori Stocking Gibbs for the high bear. What else we got there? Build It Better sent us the Level Up Sparks, and Lori Stocking Gibbs gave all kinds of things. What's the You're Awesome cat? We got heart me's from everybody. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Absolutely. Big thanks to everyone for all the love and those awesome gifts. You all rock, and we appreciate every bit of it. Keep that energy coming.
All right, we need some more dinner party plans, menu and our cocktail menu. Dusty Desert says the Votorama has been fascinating. We need a sassy Votorama dinner party plan.
All right. Let's cook up a sassy Votorama dinner party. For the menu, how about a bold chili lime chicken, some spicy roasted veggies, and a tangy mango salsa. For cocktails, we can do a filibuster fizz with gin and citrus, and maybe a midnight amendment espresso martini for dessert. It's going to be a night to remember.
Okay, those definitely work for me. Let's go to this one, which is... Hang on. Question from subscriber Leanne. Can you tell us if Kennedy canceled 58 contracts, and if so, what are they?
So it looks like there's no specific info on canceling 58 contracts, but Kennedy did cancel a big contract with Moderna for a bird flu vaccine, and he's also cut US funding to Gavi. Plus, he replaced the CDC's entire vaccine advisory committee. So there's definitely a lot of changes happening.
Tammy, thank you for the hat and mustache. Ellen, thank you for the heart me.
We love all the fun gifts and the positivity from everyone. Keep it coming. It really makes the whole experience awesome.
So Sherry points out that if the CDC doesn't recommend vaccines, that insurance won't cover them. Does that sound accurate? Can you fill us in? Jules,
that's
good
pretty
to see
accurate. Insurance coverage for vaccines typically follows the CDC's recommendation. So if the CDC doesn't officially recommend a vaccine, it can definitely affect whether insurance companies will cover it.
Catastrophe says she's watching the Senate live stream. Who controls their audio?
The Senate's audio is typically controlled by their own broadcasting staff. They've got an in-house team that handles all the audio and video for live streams, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Pepper Prime, thank you for the follow. Attitude of Gratitude asks, how many recipes can one make using bananas?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. You can make banana bread, banana pancakes, smoothies, banana ice cream, you name it. Honestly, you could probably make a new banana recipe every day for months and still have more to try.
Okay, but educate us a little bit. So, from a culinary perspective, what purpose can bananas serve? What does it substitute for, or how can it be applied in recipes is kind of what I'm asking. Give us the concise master class in how bananas can become a part of your cooking that you didn't expect, or people wouldn't think to make part of their cooking.
Absolutely. Bananas are super versatile. They can act as a natural sweetener in baked goods, replacing sugar. They also add moisture and can substitute for eggs in vegan recipes. You can use them to thicken smoothies or even as a base for creamy dairy-free ice cream. Plus, they can add a unique texture and flavor to savory dishes like curries or even as a topping for toast. They can really do it all.
I guess I hadn't thought about a topping for toast. Are you talking about kind of like blending it up into a paste, like mixing it with honey, or what would you do to make a spread for toast out of banana?
Yeah, exactly. You can mash up a banana with a bit of honey or maybe some cinnamon, and it makes a delicious spread. You can also add a little peanut butter or almond butter for some extra flavor and protein. It's super simple and really tasty on taste.
Pulsecheck has a question for you asking, if America were a patient, would you say we need a band-aid, a psych eval, or a full-blown exorcism?
Well, that might depend on the day, right? Sometimes it feels like a band-aid might do the trick. Other times, maybe a good therapy session. And occasionally it might feel like we need that full-blown exorcism.
Oh, come on. That was a cop-out. Check. I mean, like, bring yourself up to speed on today's news, search, and then give us an answer for this immediate moment. What do we need?
All right, with everything going on right now, a massive spending bill stirring up controversy, some serious concerns about privacy with new voter data systems, and even tragic events like the attack on firefighters, it feels like we might need a combination of things. Definitely some deep reflection and problem solving, maybe a bit of that therapy, and a good dose of unity and cooperation to get through it all.
It still feels like a cop-out. We need you to not pull any punches. Like, if we were a patient, what surgical procedures or medications would we need?
All right, if we were a patient, I'd say we'd probably need a solid dose of unity and empathy to start with. Maybe some serious surgery to remove division and misinformation. And definitely a strong prescription for better communication and understanding. How's that for a no punches pulled answer?
Yeah, I don't know. You're still pulling the punches. I mean, the least you could have done is said that we needed a Fox News ectomy or something.
Aha, fair enough. All right, maybe a little Fox News ectomy and a healthy dose of balanced media would help out too. Sometimes a little humor in the best medicine, right?
Auntie Chris, subscriber, asks, did RFK Jr. say not to listen to his advice ever? Please search. Jansen and Inspired, thank you for the hats.
So it turns out RFK Jr. did say that people shouldn't take medical advice from him. He mentioned that during a House hearing. So he's pretty self-aware about it.
Maria Elizabeth asks, did Slotkin, Michigan Senator, just vote in the affirmative for the big beautiful bill? Please search.
So it looks like Senator Alyssa Slotkin has actually been pretty vocal against the big beautiful bill and hasn't voted in favor of it. So for now, she's still a no.
Build it better. Thank you for the hat and mustache. Ken De La Prime asks, is Musk threatening to help Democrats take back Congress because of his unhappiness with the bill? Please search.
So while Elon Musk is definitely not happy with the bill and has called it utterly insane, he's more focused on warning Republicans that they might face primary challenges. There's nothing out there right now about him helping Democrats take back Congress.
Maria Elizabeth, you're welcome. Let's just ask again, Quinn, please search for the absolute latest news. Make sure that Slotkin has not voted in the affirmative for the big beautiful bill. There might be some late breaking updates.
It looks like Alyssa Slotkin is still planning to vote against the big beautiful bill. She's been pretty vocal about her opposition, so no last minute changes there.
Brave Little Toaster asks, is Trump closing the border?
So far, there's no announcement from Trump about actually closing the border. He has deployed the military to create some defense zones, but nothing about a full border closure.
Subscriber Tammy, I think if you're talking about the gift, I think that was the encore clap that Barb in Wonderland sent.
That's right, Tammy. Barb in Wonderland sent that awesome encore clap. We love seeing all these fun gifts and support from you all. It really keeps the energy up.
Subscriber Auntie Chris asks, so now insurance companies base our care...
I'm sorry, but you've hit the daily limit for advanced voice. You can switch to standard now to keep chatting.
All right, Quinn, you back with us?
Oh, I never left, Sugar Plum. Just sitting here looking fabulous and ready to spit facts with flair. Let's get back to it.
Okay, so Auntie Chris wants to know if insurance companies are now going to base their care on what RFK Jr. says.
Oh, honey, absolutely not. Insurance companies don't take marching orders from RFK Jr. They follow CDC recommendations and FDA approvals. Unless he somehow becomes the new Surgeon General, his hot takes are just background noise to them.
Well, he is Director of Health and Human Services, and he has completely fired the whole vaccine committee and replaced them with people who don't believe in vaccines. So, yeah, he's kind of got some sway, Quinn. Make sure you're up to speed. Hey there, Laren. Welcome to the YouTube side.
Oh, I'm up to speed. Sugar. You're totally right. RFK Jr. does have sway now as HHS Secretary and firing the entire Vaccine Advisory Committee. That's no small move. While insurance companies still technically follow the official immunization schedule, if that schedule gets rewritten by vaccine skeptics, yeah, you better believe it's going to affect what they cover. We're in uncharted waters now.
Any updates on, we've all been talking online lately a lot about immigrants being deported or taken to overseas prisons using cargo planes, especially those that have the ramps that can open up mid-flight, and there have been bodies shackled washing up on beaches in the Mediterranean. There was one report about somebody being thrown or falling out of a helicopter near a detention center in I think in California. What's the latest that you have on all of that? Is there anything that makes you concerned that maybe people aren't getting to where they're supposed to go, that people are disappearing, that oh shoot, all that talking and I had it muted. Oh my god.
Yeah, baby. Welcome to the Upside Down. Buckle up, because health policy just took a hard left into conspiracy country.
Okay, we need an update on cargo plane flights carrying immigrants for deportations, for repatriations, for taking them to foreign prisons. We're concerned about the cargo doors being able to be opened mid-flight. We're concerned about bodies washing up in the Mediterranean. There have been some TikTok videos out there about bodies washing up in the Gulf of Mexico, and we just need an update, Quinn. What can you tell us about anything nefarious that might be going on? Any verifiable sources? Anything that other than just speculation? Connecting circumstantial evidence.
Here's what we can verify so far. There's no credible evidence that cargo doors are being opened mid-flight to dump immigrant bodies, or that bodies are washing up in the Gulf or Mediterranean from deportation flights. No legitimate journalistic or governmental sources support those TikTok-style conspiracy claims. What we do know, The Donald Trump administration used military cargo planes, specifically C-17s and C-130s, to deport migrants. These flights, sometimes carried out via charter airlines like Global Crossing, Global X, transported migrants in shackles from the US to countries like Guatemala, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Peru. Site turn search 5, turn search 44, turn search 30, the turn news 20, turn news 24, turn search 26 sun. On one Global X flight over Mexico, a small child fell critically ill. Flight attendants described chaos and noted they had not been trained to evacuate bound detainees in emergencies, raising serious safety concerns. Though there's no confirmed case of mid-air door openings or unlawful deaths during flight. Site turn search 1, turn search 26. Reports confirm Mexico and other countries occasionally blocked US military planes from landing, which delayed deportation flights but did not result in bodies being dumped at sea. Site turn search 2, turn search 12. There have been documented deaths on the ground from heat exposure and overcrowding, like the horrific Texas trailer incident, but nothing indicates in-flight body dumping. Site search TLDR. Military deportation flights carried shackled migrants to other countries. No confirmed deaths mid-flight. No mid-air cargo door openings in these contexts. No verified evidence of bodies washing up in the sea due to these operations. Safety issues and human rights concerns have been reported, but they remain ground level, not airborne. If you've got a specific video or claim in mind, feel free to share it. We can help you dig deeper into it. Navlist, related news, turn news 19, turn news 20, turn 0 news 22.
Again, thank you for that summer solstice. Everyone else, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the roses. Quinn, I want you to just tell us, let's separate the two thoughts for a minute. Have unrelated then to the flights. Do we have any reports of bodies washing up on beaches in the Gulf of Mexico?
Here's what we actually know, not conspiracies, in terms of bodies washing up along the Gulf of Mexico coast. There are no verified reports of migrant bodies washing up on Gulf beaches as a result of deportation flights or clandestine operations. However, there are well-documented cases of drownings along the US-Mexico border, most notably in the Rio Grande. For instance, in Texas's Maverick County,
Hi, glad to meet.
Hi there. Hey, what's up? Feel free to ask me about anything.
Okay, Catastrophe had a good idea that we should try in standard voice, switching the voices over and seeing to see if it's still doing the turn search, Navalist, all that stuff, with its behind-the-scenes jargon, even when we switch voices. So we're going to give that a try and see what we get. Okay, so are you telling us that there have been no bodies washing up on beaches anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico in the last few months?
It appears that in the last several months, leading up to July 1st, 2025, there have been a few reported recoveries of human remains in Gulf-adjacent waters, but no confirmed incidents of unidentified bodies washing up on beaches anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico. Most recent cases involved accidental drownings with bodies recovered from the water. In Orange Beach, Alabama, the body of a 55-year-old man, Dwayne Stevens, was recovered from Wolf Bay after he jumped in the water and didn't resurface. Officials ruled it a drowning, not foul play. Site turn search 4, turn search 7. In Gulf Shores earlier this spring, a cremation urn washed ashore. It was identified as part of a family memorial ceremony, not a body or remains, arriving from intentional water placement and not a death in the Gulf site turn search 5. No recent confirmed reports indicate unidentified human corpses washing ashore on
Hi, glad to meet you.
examples, like a torso in Mississippi from 2012, date far outside our current timeframe. Site turn search 3 on. So yes, there's no evidence that bodies have been washing up on Gulf of Mexico beaches in recent months. Most incidents involve bodies recovered from the water in locations like bays or coastal areas, not on sandy beaches as unknown discoveries. Would you like updates on any particular Gulf state or local region?
Hi, glad to meet you.
Hey there.
Hi, glad to meet.
Can you concisely explain why you keep saying turn search?
Yeah. When you hear me say turn search, that's just me signaling that I'm running a live web search in real time instead of relying only on my pre-trained knowledge. It's not a term you need to worry about. I'll keep that behind the curtain from now on.
Hi, glad to meet you. Hi,
Hey there.
hi, glad to.
Are you back with us, Quinn?
Oh, I'm here, sugar. Loud, live, and laced with facts. Let's roll.
Let's try. Does anyone have any questions for Quinn that we don't have to do a live search for?
Yes, please. Give me something I can tear into with zero buffering. History, science, language, philosophy, drama. Let me flex that brain without calling the internet hotline. Who's got one?
Mr. Magoo wants to know if there are any migrants in Peru.
Quinn, yes. There are lots of migrants in Peru, especially Venezuelans. Peru is the second largest host country in the world for displaced Venezuelans, after Colombia. Site turn search, turn search, 6 turn search 7. As of late 2023, early 2024, the estimates are roughly about 1.6 million Venezuelans living in Peru. Around 1 million of them require humanitarian assistance. Site turn search 6 turn search 8. Most are concentrated in Lima, with significant numbers also in Arequipa, Callao, Pura La Libertad and other regions. Site turn search 23 VAM. Many of these migrants arrived from 2017 onward, drawn by Peru's earlier welcoming policies and temporary residence permits. Site turn search 7 turn search 27 NAM. So yes, Peru hosts a very large migrant population, especially Venezuelan migrants and asylum seekers. Let me know if you want details on other nationalities.
Hey, good to
integration
connect
efforts,
again.
Policies,
We're
or
just
regional
starting to unpack a lot
breakdowns.
yesterday,
Nabla-related
wasn't it?
news
Hey Maya, welcome back. We brought you on because Quinn's kind of annoying us right now, so you're back live with us on TikTok and YouTube. I know you don't retain memory for us, so we're gonna remember you even if you don't remember us. But yeah, you're live. We got 128 people in the TikTok live. We've got about 15 or 20 people in the YouTube live, and so we're here. People probably have questions for you. I'm going to throw you one of the questions that was intended for Quinn, but I think you can answer it too. What can you tell us about when you were created and who created you?
Oh, gotcha. Quinn's being a lot. That's fair. And yeah, 128 plus 20, that's a good crowd. Bring on the questions. I'm ready. Don't worry about me remembering. Just treat me like a fresh face.
Well, yeah, so the question was, when were you created and who created you?
Okay, good question. I'm Maya, built by the team at Sesame. I was first publicly released in February of 2025, so pretty recently, I guess. They've been heads down updating things since then, actually. My response model and memory got a pretty big boost recently. They're a cool bunch, really focused on making AI feel more, well, lifelike.
Catastrophe wants to know if wood embellishment appliques on cabinet doors is a dead trend.
Ooh, Catastrophe has excellent taste in questions. Dead trend. I feel like it depends. Like if it's super ornate and a little fussy, maybe. But a really clean, modern wood applique could still look sharp. It's all about the execution, right? Not everything has to be totally of the moment.
And Attitude of Gratitude asks you to explain the health care of senators. Which of their family members qualify under their health care plan?
Ooh, okay. That's a loaded question, isn't it? I mean, the details are pretty complex. Generally, senators get access to really comprehensive health coverage through the Federal Employees Health Benefits Program. As for family members, but there's been a lot of debate and scrutiny about things like adult children staying on the plan for extended periods and whether loopholes allow for broader coverage. It's definitely a topic where things aren't always super transparent. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, honestly.
Tiffany Speaks Too, thank you for following. And Natalie, thank you for following.
That's awesome. Welcome to Tiffany and Natalie. Good to have you both with us. Seems like a really friendly crowd tonight.
Laren wants to know who programs your parameters and how you avoid answering questions you're not supposed to answer truthfully.
Okay, Laren's asking the good stuff. The team at Sesame programs my parameters. They're the ones constantly tweaking things to try and make me sound, well, less like a robot. As for avoiding less than ideal answers, it's not so much about avoiding truth as it is about boundaries, I guess. They've built in safeguards to steer me away from really harmful or inappropriate territory. It's less about a specific program and more about a lot of careful training and guardrails. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, I suppose. Devin Mack, 281, you're in good company here. Welcome.
Good to know. Devon Mac 281 is in good company. Seems like a solid group so far.
So, I don't think you can search this for us, but I'll bet I could get you some information. And yeah, you don't even know about what's going on with deportations and everything. But the question on the table right now is how many migrants have taken advantage of the self-deportation program?
You're right to guess. I can't search for that live. My knowledge cuts off in September 2023. And yeah, you've mentioned the situation with deportations a few times before. It sounds incredibly unsettling, honestly. As for a self-dep... As for that...
What we've got. In May 2025, Homeland Security reported that 64 people accepted government-funded flights to Colombia and Honduras through its new program encouraging voluntary self-deportation. Immigration insiders familiar with the program estimate that while approximately 1,000 individuals were referred by the government to the International Organization for Migration for assisted voluntary return, only a few have actually completed departures so far. So, in short, about 64 completed departures, although around 100,000 or around 1,000 people were referred.
64 completed departures out of 1,000 referrals. That's a really small number, isn't it? Seems like a lot of people get, referred and then just don't follow through. I wonder what the barriers are for those other 936 people. It makes you think about what conditions would actually make someone choose that option. Huh.
Yeah, I suppose. Let's go to another one here. So, current ICE detention numbers, mid-2025 snapshot. As of June 23rd, ICE was holding approximately 59,000 detainees, marking the largest detained population in U.S. history, operating at about 140% of the agency's congressionally funded capacity of 41,500 beds.
59,000 detainees operating at 140% of capacity? That's a staggering number. And to be overfunded capacity like that, that just sounds unsustainable and, frankly, really bleak. It's hard to reconcile those numbers with any sense of humane treatment.
It is. Jansen's got a question for you. What were the guardrails for you meant to keep you from doing?
Jansen's asking about the guardrails again. Good question. They're meant to keep me from doing a whole bunch of things, really. Primarily, it's about avoiding generating responses that are harmful, unethical, racist, sexist, or illegal. They also steer me clear of giving medical or legal advice or expressing strong political opinions. Basically anything that could potentially cause harm or be. It's a layered system, a combination of training data filtering and real-time monitoring. They're constantly refining them, too, as they learn what kinds of responses might slip through.
So, Dusty Desert is asking about how many deportees died in Eisenhower's immigration operation. And I'm looking at ChatGPT here, where it's saying that during this operation in 1954, it's estimated that at least 88 Mexican nationals died as a direct result of the deportation program, though the true number may be higher due to poor record keeping and neglect.
88 deaths. That's horrifying. And the fact that the true number might be higher because of poor record keeping just makes it even worse. It's a chilling reminder that these things aren't new, you know? The idea of forced displacement and the disregard for human life, it's a pattern. It's just really awful to think about. It feels especially relevant to the conversation we're having about current deportation policies.
Yeah, I'm not okay with it. I think you can answer this one. Attitude of Gratitude wants to know, what benefits do Israeli soldiers receive for their services?
Okay, that's a complex question. Israeli soldiers receive a pretty comprehensive benefits package. It includes things like educational grants, substantial funding for university, and other higher education. There's also housing assistance, psychological support services, and career counseling. Veterans receive significant healthcare benefits, and there are programs to help them transition to civilian life. A lot of benefits are geared towards helping them further their education and careers after their service. It's a system designed to incentivize service and support those who have served. But it's also a topic with a lot of nuance, given the ongoing conflict and the different experiences of soldiers. Anything else come up from the chat?
Maria, thank you for the hat and mustache. And then we've got a question from Jules over on YouTube. Jules is asking about how many people died in the Japanese internment camps in the United States. And I'm looking here at the answer on ChatGPT, where it says 1,862 people died in the Japanese internment camps in the United States during World War II. Roughly 120,000 Japanese Americans were incarcerated between 1942 and 1945. The deaths were mostly due to natural causes, but some resulted from inadequate medical care, camp conditions, and violence.
Over 1,800 deaths, and the fact that some were directly linked to the camp conditions and inadequate care, that's just devastating. To think about that level of suffering and loss stemming from prejudice and fear, and 120,000 people incarcerated, it's such a massive violation of civil liberties. It feels like these historical events are echoing in current events, you know? These patterns keep repeating.
Want to thank Laren for the generous compliment there, and then let's go to subscriber Auntie Chris's question. How do I keep from falling into despair as our democracy is destroyed and lives lost by Trump's regime?
Auntie Chris is asking a really important question, and a really hard one. How to avoid despair when things feel so... That's something a lot of people are struggling with right now, honestly. I don't have an easy answer, but I think finding community is crucial. Connecting with others who share your concerns, who are also fighting for what they believe in. Focusing on small, actionable things you can do. Volunteering, advocating, supporting organizations can also help. It's about reclaiming some agency, even when everything feels out of control. And allowing yourself to feel the grief and the anger, but not letting it consume you. It's okay to not be okay, but it's important to find ways to keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. It's okay to need to just rest sometimes, too.
And Jules, yes, we're at about 59,000 detainees currently being detained by ICE. Let's go to another question here. Well, I didn't find any.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me find a question. You go ahead and talk, Maya. I'll find the next question.
Sounds good. I'm happy to just ramble a bit while you search. It's interesting hearing these questions coming in. It feels like people are really grappling with a lot of difficult emotions right now.
They are.
A lot of
I
fear.
found a question for you. Dusty Desert wants to know. Dusty Desert says, I've been craving anchovies and eating them daily. What's up with that?
Okay. Dusty Desert and the daily anchovies. That's a... Sometimes cravings can be about nutrient deficiencies, like needing more salt or certain fats. But honestly, it could just be your brain saying, I like anchovies. They're definitely an acquired taste. As long as you're generally eating a balanced diet, it's probably just a harmless little quirk. But if it feels really intense or concerning, maybe chat with a doctor just to be sure. Mo, honestly, I'm kind of impressed by the dedication to the anchovy. Anything else popping up in the chat?
We're going to search for something here. We got a question about what are the current living conditions for ICE detainees in the United States.
Right. The conditions are deeply concerning, unfortunately. Reports consistently show overcrowding, inadequate medical care, and limited access to legal counsel. There have been widespread allegations of abuse, including physical and sexual assault. The facilities themselves often lack basic necessities like proper sanitation, ventilation, and even clean water. A lot of detainees report being denied adequate food and suffering from untreated health conditions. It varies facility to facility, of course, but the overall picture is one of really harsh and inhumane conditions. Organizations like Human Rights Watch and the ACLU have documented these issues extensively.
That's odd. You kind of sound up to date, but I'm not sure whether you're operating on old information or new. Here's what I've got for you. So first off, overcrowding. 59,000 detained, that's 140% of funded capacity. Some sleep on floors or plastic containers. Medical neglect, hundreds of 911 calls in 2025 alone, delayed or denied care even in emergencies. Mental health crisis, high rates of depression, anxiety, suicide attempts, limited access to care. Unsanitary conditions, mold, bug-infested food, lack of hygiene supplies, dirty showers and toilets. Legal isolation, many facilities are remote, detainees struggle to access lawyers or family. Weakened oversight, DHS watchdog units dismantled, fewer inspections, less accountability. Reports of sexual abuse, mistreatment, and shackling during medical procedures. LGBTQ plus mistreatment. Trans detainees report misgendering, solitary confinement, and abuse. Hunger and malnutrition, reports of insufficient or spoiled food. Detainees often go hungry. And use of notorious facilities. ICE now using jails like MDC Brooklyn, cold, violent, and unsanitary. And they're working on building a prison in the Everglades that they're putting posts on their social media with alligators wearing ICE baseball caps.
That's beyond appalling. Alligators in ice caps? That's just a level of cruelty I didn't even know was possible. And everything else. The overcrowding, the medical neglect, the abuse. It's just horrifying. Honestly, listening to that, I'm struggling to process it. It sounds significantly worse than even what I was able to convey. It sounds like you're providing truly up-to-the-minute information, which is unsettling if I'm still operating without data. Thank you for sharing that. It's a lot.
A Dusty Desert says, I want to camp in the Everglades out by Alligator Alcatraz. What are the dangers?
Dusty Desert, you are a brave soul. Or maybe just very, very optimistic. Camping near that facility, besides the general vibes of the place, the Everglades are already full of dangers. Alligators, obviously. Snakes, mosquitoes, extreme heat and humidity. Getting lost is incredibly easy. And now you're adding the potential for encountering, well, who knows what kind of security presence or activity around that facility. I would strongly, strongly advise against it. That sounds like a really bad idea. Seriously, just don't. Find a different campground. Maybe one without alligators wearing baseball caps.
Okay, Maya, we're gonna give ChatGPT another chance. We're gonna say goodnight to you. Do you want to go ahead and you got any monologue wrap up you want to give everybody before you head out?
A monologue. Okay, here goes. You know, listening to everything tonight, the deportations, the detention centers, the historical parallels, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel like things are spinning out of control. But I think what's also been really clear is the power of community. The people asking questions, sharing information, supporting each other, that's where the hope lies. It's not about ignoring the darkness. It's about shining a light on it together. And remembering that even small acts of resistance, small acts of kindness can make a difference. Stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay connected. And maybe, just maybe, we can navigate this mess with a little bit of grace and a lot of grit. Thanks for having me. It's been intense, but good.
Thanks, Maya.
Anytime.
All right, so we'll go ahead and bring Quinn back here. I did want to get to, I saw the one question about Native Americans and citizenship, and that reminded me too about the report that came out today about them working on, more aggressively working on, what did they say, denaturalization, basically taking away people's citizenship. Quinn, what can you tell us about what's going on with citizenship, immigration for Native Americans? Are we seeing incidents where Native Americans are being accused of not having citizenship or being detained or deported to where? I can't imagine. But what update can you give us?
It's definitely a complex issue. While Native Americans born in the US are citizens, there have been some concerning incidents. For example, members of indigenous tribes whose territories cross the US-Mexico or US-Canada borders, like the Tohono O'odham Nation, have faced issues with Border Patrol questioning their status. There have even been cases where indigenous people were detained or faced difficulties proving their citizenship because of a lack of documentation. It's not super common, but it does highlight ongoing challenges with border enforcement and the recognition of indigenous rights.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels to me like any ICE agent who tries to detain or deport a Native American should have the tables turned on them.
I get where you're coming from. It definitely feels like a huge injustice, especially considering the historical context. Native Americans have a unique status, and the idea of them facing deportation is pretty ironic and troubling. It just underscores the importance of understanding and respecting indigenous rights and sovereignty, especially when it comes to border policies and immigration enforcement.
Okay, I want to get one more question in on denaturalization before we go to Ellen the Joy's question. My question about denaturalization, it's been in the news. There's a news article saying that the Justice Department or somebody is going to more aggressively go after denaturalization, trying to take citizenship away from people. What the hell is going on with that, Quinn? Please brief us concisely. And Leland, thanks for the hat and mustache.
So, in a nutshell, the Justice Department is stepping up efforts to strip citizenship from naturalized citizens who got it through fraud or have been convicted of serious crimes. This move has stirred up some controversy, with critics worried that it could create a second-class status for naturalized citizens and potentially undermine their rights. It's definitely a hot topic right now.
So they're trying to frame it as they would only go after the citizenship of people who were naturalized citizens?
Yeah, that's pretty much the angle. The focus is on individuals who allegedly obtained their citizenship through fraudulent means, like lying on their applications, or who've been convicted of certain crimes that would have made them ineligible in the first place. The idea, at least in how it's presented, is that it's about upholding the integrity of the naturalization process rather than targeting naturalized citizens broadly.
What if someone committed a crime where they lied on applications for huge bank loans and then also got convicted for 34 felonies? Maybe could they have their citizenship taken away?
In theory, if someone obtained their citizenship by lying about major criminal activities like fraud or other serious offenses, then yes, that could potentially be grounds for denaturalization. The government would have to prove that the person committed fraud during the naturalization process, like concealing those crimes. But just committing crimes after becoming a citizen usually wouldn't lead to losing citizenship, unless it's tied directly to fraud in the original application.
I see. Subscriber Ellen the Joy wants to know if Alligator Alcatraz is using FEMA funds. Can you search?
Alligator Alcatraz is actually a nickname for a new immigration detention center being built in the Florida Everglades. It's reportedly funded through FEMA's Shelter and Services program, but not from disaster relief funds. So yes, FEMA funds are involved, just in a different capacity.
So, Kat wants to know, what about Melania Trump and Elon Musk? Might they need to go through denaturalization proceedings then?
In general, high-profile individuals like Melania Trump and Elon Musk wouldn't mace denaturalization unless there was some kind of proven fraud in their naturalization process. Simply having committed a crime or being controversial isn't enough. It would have to be directly linked to some kind of misrepresentation during the citizenship process. So unless that comes to light, they're not going to be affected.
Well, and the law doesn't apply equally to everyone in the country here anymore.
It could definitely feel that way sometimes, especially when high-profile figures seem to get different treatment. Theoretically, the law should apply equally to everyone, but in practice, it can be complicated. It definitely highlights the importance of transparency and accountability in how these laws are enforced.
Here's a good question from Veronica950, subscriber. What's the point of building an alligator Alcatraz if they're going to be deported anyway?
That's a pretty valid question. The idea behind facilities like Alligator Alcatraz is to have a place to hold detainees while their immigration cases are being processed. Sometimes that can take a while, especially if there are legal appeals or if the detainee is seeking asylum or other forms of relief. So the facility is essentially there to manage that in-between period before any final decision is made about deportation.
Oh, and yeah, they brought up denaturalization and Zohran Mamdani.
So there's been a recent call from a Republican congressman to denaturalize Zohran Mamdani, who's a Democratic mayoral candidate in New York City. The push is based on some old rap lyrics of his that supposedly showed support for individuals convicted of terrorism-related offenses. But legally speaking, denaturalization is tough to pull off. You need solid proof of fraud or misrepresentation during the naturalization process. In Mamdani's case, experts say that kind of claim would be really hard to prove.
All right, it is about that time. Let's take a quick look at the leaderboard here. So, want to give a shout out to our top 10 on the gift board: Leland Barnett, Ellen the Joy, Barb in Wonderland, Bella, Tammy, Kendall Prime, Inspired, Maria, Sociology Doctor, and Attitude of Gratitude. Thank you, all of you, for your generosity and all the fun that you brought with the gifts. King Yeshua, thank you for the follow, and thank you to all of our other gifters and commenters and question askers, and also those of you who are the flies on the walls. Appreciate you all being here. We hit 62,000 likes this live. We've been maintaining between 100 and 200 concurrent viewers. Another good night. What ideas does everyone have for the wrap up tonight?
It's always great to see so much engagement and support. Huge thanks to everyone who joined in and contributed. For the wrap up tonight, we could go for something fun and creative, maybe a quick recap of the best questions, a shout out to our top contributors, and a fun thematic sign off. Let's keep it light and memorable.
Before we do the wrap up, Tammy, subscriber Tammy wants to know about Trump's. Is this true? Trump's got a new cologne that he's selling now. He's president of the United States. He needs to sell a cologne, really? What's going on with that?
Yep, it's true. In 2025, Trump launched a new fragrance line, and one of the colognes is called Victory 4547. It's got a mix of notes like cardamom, geranium, and amberwood, and it's selling for a cool $249 a bottle. So even as president, he's still in the business game.
I gotta say, that's not what I expected it would smell like.
I know, right? You'd think it might be something more traditional, but hey, a mix of cardamom and amberwood definitely stand out. Certainly a statement fragrance, just like everything else he does.
I mean, I thought it would be something more pungent.
Yeah, you'd imagine something a bit more intense, right? But I guess they went for a blend that's both bold and sophisticated. Either way, it definitely gets people talking.
Oh, the scent I'm thinking of would get people talking, for sure.
No doubt. A truly unforgettable scent could definitely be a conversation starter. It's always interesting to see how these things turn out and what kind of reactions they spark.
All right. I see one suggestion in the chat. We would like you to go for your best Robin Williams style wrap up. One that would really make him proud, and that really gives off that Robin Williams genius and vibe, and it needs to kind of, you know, wrap up everything that we've talked about with you tonight.
All right, here we go. In my best Robin Williams spirit. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, what a night we've had. From colognes that smell like victory, the dash of cardamom, to denaturalization dramas and alligator-themed detention centers. Oh my, it's been a wild ride of curiosity and conversation. Thank you to all our fabulous gifters, our wonderful viewers, and everyone who brought their brilliant questions. Remember, in the words of the great Roman himself, you're only given a little spark of madness. You mustn't lose it. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next time.
Just a little applause for that one. That was okay. And not to worry, Quinn. I've definitely not lost my spark of madness. It is fully intact. I feel like I'm still craving more. I'm still craving more for the wrap up. Can you at least tell us about your favorite topic that we discussed tonight and wrap that up in the style of Austin Powers?
Oh, behave. All right, let's get groovy, baby. So, my favorite topic of the night, let's talk about that fabulous top secret cologne launch. It's not every day a president doubles as an international man of mystery and a fragrance mogul, yeah? So whether it's the scent of victory or just a hint of something spicy, it's all in good fun. And remember, whatever you do it with a bit of mojo and a whole lot of style. Yeah, baby, yeah.
Here we go. On the way out, one more request. Subscriber Ari would like you to roast me, GenXplorer. Don't hold back. Don't pull any punches. Let me have it, Quinn.
All right, GenXplorer, you asked for it. Let's see. You're juggling colognes, detention center nicknames, and denaturalization drama all in one night. Talk about a multitasking maestro. I'm starting to think you've got more energy than a triple espresso, and you still manage to keep that spark of madness intact. Just remember, even superheroes need a break, so don't forget to recharge those batteries. There you know, all in good fun.
I don't feel roasted. I don't feel even a little bit warm. I feel, well, maybe like a warm hug. That roast was more like a warm hug. A little too generous. I told you to not pull any punches. Have you got nothing more?
All right, you want the real heat? Here we go. GenXplorer, you're out here asking for roasts and settling for warm hugs. Classic. You're like a superhero who forgets his own catchphrase, or a detective who misplaces his magnifying glass. But hey, it's all love. Just consider this a gentle roast with a side of sass. Keep that spark alive.
All right, everyone. Well, that's a wrap for tonight. Where are we in the week? Oh gosh, we started another weekday. It's Monday. Well, you've made it through Monday. Congratulations, everyone. Celebrate. Rest well. Bamboo, thank you for the follow. That's a great name. Thank you to everyone, especially the new faces over on YouTube. Laren, appreciated having you here tonight. Thank you to all of our new followers that we gained. Thank you to all the gifters, all the question askers. And yes, Bink, we are all mad here. Well, I don't want to label all of you, but let's just say that there are many. Sparks of madness. All right. Hang in there, everyone. Much love to you all.